turn on Kim Ware's microphone. Hey, Kim.
Hi.
Welcome to Pass the Hat.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Good, good. Good.
So did
Excited
you?
to be here. I'm excited that it wasn't raining.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
drove down the mountain today.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're glad you're here and glad you found parking. And wasn't that fun walking down the street, seeing all that?
It was delightful. Yeah.
Well, Kim, we warned you that we'd like to just jump in and play some music. And Bob, is the stream streaming?
We're live and we're ready to play.
Cool. So I wrote this several years ago, kind of thinking about crushing on somebody that's off limits. But last March, it kind of took on a new meaning, which you'll see. It's called Sit on Your Hand. Sit on your hands if that's what it takes not to touch me. I'll cover my lips 'cause that makes it harder to kiss your mouth. Take out my brain, maybe that way I'll stop thinking things that I'm thinking about. And put on your coat 'cause I think it's gonna get cold here. I won't sit too close, don't wanna pretend I can keep you warm. Take out my heart, feelings, they just don't belong here. Tell them to stir up the storm. And I know this is wrong, dear, but it's so hard to be strong. And I wrote this song 'cause I can't say it's not going away. Cover your ears, you don't wanna hear what I'm saying. And I'll close my eyes, I don't wanna see how you look at me. If I don't go to sleep, maybe I'll finally stop dreaming things I know will never be. And I know this is wrong, dear, but it's so hard to be strong here. I know this is wrong, dear, but it's so hard to be strong here. I know this is wrong, dear, but it's so hard to be strong here. And I wrote this song 'cause I can't say it's not going away. I fall deeper each day. Sit on your hand. Just 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 sit on your hand. That's what it takes on
All right. Kim Ware. Bob, sit on your hand.
Yes, sir.
Kim, that was really nice. Want to talk a lot about your musical journey, if you will, and because of that, we can't be in Atlanta yet. We've got to start way back when in Kings Mountains, where you grew up.
It is.
And tell us a little bit about the type of music you're surrounded by growing up.
Oh God. So I love 80s pop music. I love the radio. And in fact, my cousin, back when I was like elementary school, early teens, I had a cousin that lived in Gastonia that owned some radio stations, and he would pass along to me when they were done with the American Top 40 on vinyl. He would give me
Wow.
the old one. I still have some of them.
Nice.
And that's really all that I was exposed to was on what was on mainstream radio. But I love the 80s music.
And when did you get involved with singing and playing yourself?
Gosh, not until about, like, in earnest, I guess, about 12 or 15 years ago, writing songs. But I became a drummer. I got my first drum kit when I was 16. I was really interested in the drums.
So that's
That was my first.
that's some good supportive parents.
That's very
right there.
indulgent parents.
Yeah, it's funny because my mom likes to still tell this story that when I played the drums in school in the school band, and I wanted a drum kit so bad, and she thought it was going to be a thing where I would play it for a little bit and then not touch it anymore. And my parents didn't really have a lot of money, so I mean, fine, that was a big investment.
Oh, yeah.
And I begged and begged and begged. That was the only thing I wanted for so long. And she still says it's like one of the best things that she ever did as far as like buying me something, because I really did. I mean, I went on to play, in band. I just played for years. It was my first love, really.
So
We've had other drummers here who then took up guitar later, and we can hear this in your guitar playing that. So being a drummer, it helps you playing guitar, playing the rhythm part and stuff. Did it a little bit?
Yeah, I think I played very percussively. Yeah.
So did I miss this? What made you, as a young girl growing up in the mountains, desperately want drums?
I was a big tomboy. I really think it was like I associated the drums with like that was a boy instrument to me. I mean, my mom even said as much when it was time for me to sign up for like what I wanted to play in the band. I mean, she was like, "Girls don't play drums," and I was like, "No, I don't."
They do now.
I want to play the drums. So I was like, that was the only thing I was interested in, and I think it might have come from that. And I also my first cousin, he played drums. And I really looked up, and he was a little older than me, and I really looked up to him, and I thought it was really cool because he did it.
So you had some kind of peer pressure-y thing going on there, or at least someone you were looking up to. That explains it a little bit, because that just seems unusual, but yay for doing it.
One of the more exciting things I think of the drum line in band, in marching bands.
Oh,
the drum line is, wow, a lot of energy there. But we've talked about drums long enough. We want to hear some more of your original music. What do you have for us next?
Cool.
Or non-original, either way.
Yeah. This is the song I wrote. This was on my last album that I released in 2019, as was the first song I played. And this is called "I Dropped Your Name."
We're getting that mic right eventually.
I quit drinking just to show you that I could. Just to prove that my intentions are good. If you stop smoking, you could hear that call. I'm just hoping to give it a little thought. I dropped your name on the sidewalk. No gonna walk on anyway. I've done my time in the background where nobody saw it. I was standing in line for the right sound any day. I quit drinking just to show you that I flew.
Ware.
So Kim, we'd talked about playing drums, and then we talked about you taking up guitar. What we didn't talk about was what inspired you to decide to start to write songs. Do you remember why?
Yeah, I went through a divorce, and
Well, do it.
yeah, like I think there was just a lot here in my head that I hadn't really talked a lot about, and at the same time, I was playing drums for two really great songwriters in Atlanta. When I moved to Atlanta, that I picked up guitar, and that was really the first time that I played drums for people that really worked on like lyrics and like the craft of songwriting. Whereas before I played with like kind of like noisy rock and stuff, where it was just as much about the instrumentation and like just the sonics of it.
Right.
And lyrics were kind of an afterthought, really, a lot of the time. And just falling in with like just really good, like pure songwriters got me really interested in that. I think just as a medium of expression, and I had always been drawn to writing. I was an English major in college, and so I just kind of saw it as a means of expressing like things I would write, really. But they inspired me a lot, and I saw a guitar for sale at a flea market, and I was like, I think I'm gonna get a guitar and try to start writing songs. And, yeah, I did.
That answers some questions for me, the English major part, because your songs aren't sweet little ditties. You pack a lot of thought into your songs, a lot of emotion into your songs, and I think it probably takes listening to them two or three times to really unpack all that's in there, and that is it. That's why I like your music so much, is because it does. You can listen to it two or three times, and you get slightly different meanings out of it. And I'm wondering what your songwriting process is. Do you just anytime you need to write some songs, go out and get divorced?
Yeah, I mean, like personal hardship can be very inspiring.
Yes.
But no, I wouldn't recommend that. No, I kind of approach like the process um, in different ways. It kind of has depended on the song. I think many times I'm doing something else, and something will pop into my head.
Right.
Um, Often driving. So thank whomever for these little devices. They do come in handy for that respect.
So you can just talk into your phone, and it saves your ideas.
A lot of times that's how they start. Yeah, there have been some here recently that started from a journal entry, and that was really new to me. I was surprised I had never written that way before. And they kind of came out of like assignments from different like groups, or like one came from my therapist, but they started as like a journal entry, and it inspired a song. So it kind of varies, but most of the time it's just me humming something or singing something in my phone.
But as Bob said, they come across as so natural, and each of the first two songs had like these clever little hooks in them. But unlike most hooks, they just seem like like
Part of the song. Just,
fall in
yeah.
and part of the song. And so it's we had a good feel for a couple different approaches in the first two songs. So we can't wait to hear what you have for us next.
All right. I mentioned this one. So, check my finger really quick. This came about a very different way. This was an assignment from my therapist. Um, and I was just kind of having a hard time with getting past kind of this negative mindset, basically. And she asked me to write a letter to myself from this like feeling, telling myself what it had done for me, like positively. When she said that, I was just like, huh?
I was just thinking, huh?
I was like, it hasn't done anything for me. You know, I didn't say that out loud, but I thought that, and I was like, what? And I was just like, okay, well, I'm such a rule follower and such a like, if you give me homework, I'm
Do the homework.
start homework. So a few days later, I sat down my notebook and I thought, okay, I'm gonna try to write this letter, and it just something clicked, and I got it, and I got what she was saying because I mean, a lot of times I think we have kind of, I could go on and on. Just tell me to shut up if I'm talking too much. You know, a lot of times we have like defense mechanisms, but and we might think of it as like, oh, I hate when I do whatever, but it's like it might be actually doing something kind of positive for us.
Fair point.
And so
Yeah.
that's what I learned from writing this letter. And then I had no intention of writing a song from it, but a few days later, I think because the letter just really stuck with me, this the song just kind of came out. So I released this just a couple months ago as a single. It's called Capital R, and it's pretty rocking on the studio version. So just try to imagine it with like full band screaming. Da 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 da. I'd write you a letter, but you probably wouldn't read it. I'd like to know you better, but you're hiding and afraid. And I sing you a love song, but you hardly even like it. When it's real and when it's wrong, and no one gets paid. I don't wanna be here, but you're so inviting. This time, I think I might stay. I'll run through your hallway. I just saw your painting and linger till I get my way. Want it that way. Calling out the answers, but you can't recall the questions. You're too busy keeping score of games you'll never win. You're smart when decisions half-assed optimism. You're breaking rules and making moves of enemies and friends. I don't wanna be here, but you're so inviting. This time, I think I might stay. I'll run through your hallway, just saw your paintings and linger till I get my way. Want it that way. You want it that way. She said, this is just
ending.
Kim Ware, thegoodgraces.org. You mentioned that you recorded that one, and a lot of other recordings, and the links to where people can get a hold of these tracks are out on thegoodgraces.org. It's out there recently, about 5 minutes ago, looking at the website and enjoying it very much. And Grace is someone in your life.
Yeah, Grace was my grandmother's name. Well, is my grandmother's name. She's not around anymore. But,
Still her name.
yeah, of course. And she was just one of my, I was thinking about this the other day, one of my last, like, memories of her, and a really good memory of my previous life, the relationship that, went south and all that.
That led to all the good songs?
Yeah, but one of my last memories of her really, like, as a healthy individual was when I got married in the 90s, and just this was so her. Like, there was a video recording, of course, of the wedding, and afterwards she was walking up the aisle, in the church, and you would have thought that, like, the whole event was for her. Like, she was smiling so big and waving at everybody, and just, like, she was just that way. She was just, she had so much, like, spirit and life, and she was just a really great person, and she was a really positive influence on me, so that's why when I started writing songs, I wanted to kind of name it after her.
I like that.
I like that very much. And I wanted to ask about your group, Kim Ware and the Good Graces. Is the group that you work with?
Yeah, so when I first started writing songs, MySpace was
Oh my
all the
gosh.
rage, and so
That's good stuff.
I wasn't even sure if I would play them out in front of people.
Right.
But I thought, well, I had this, like, digital 8-track recorder.
Sure.
How to use it and all that. So I was like, well, I'll just make some little simple home recordings and put them on MySpace. And I felt like my name, like Kim Ware, was just kind of just dry and kind of boring. So I wanted to give it a name. And I was really into, like, Bright Eyes and Mountain Goat. And, like, but at the time, like, those were really just, like, one person. But they had given it a name. And I thought that was cool and kind of, like, mysterious. So even before I, like, had any designs on getting other people to play with me, I named it that.
People make fun of MySpace now, but MySpace, I got to give them credit. They jump-started music and for, it was free, and anybody doing any music, as Kim just said, at home could put it out there and put your pictures on there and list your gigs, and they sort of, were a preview to all this other stuff that we have available now.
Speaking of gigs.
Do you have any coming up?
So I do have a few. I've had a lot in October, and I have a few more before I hibernate for the winter. I'm playing at back home at Dragonfly Wine Market, which is in Shelby, North Carolina, on November 20th.
Wait, there's a place called the Dragonfly Wine Market?
Yes, there is.
Why have I not been there?
It's nice.
It sounds nice.
Check it out. Yeah.
I'm going to Shelby.
You should. It's right. It's like the Court Square. It's really. It's nice.
So
cool.
it's right downtown.
Yeah. Well, they call it uptown.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know, but they call it uptown. So yeah, that's November 20th, and then the following, like a week later on that Sunday, the 28th, I'm playing it. Believe it or not, there's a winery in Kings Mountain called Veronay, I think is how you say it. And I'm playing there on November 28th in the afternoon. And then on December 14th, I'm playing at Ware Coffee Express in Annapolis. That's like a singer-songwriter night. That one.
Nice. And you're down here in our fair town because not just to be on our show, but you're recording down here too, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, I thought I would come, weekend and take care of
Just knock it all out.
2 birds. Yeah.
So who are you recording with, and what are you recording?
I'm recording. Hopefully it'll end up being a new album.
Yay.
With Jerry Key. I've worked with him a lot. He has got 2 studios in Nevin. And I started this project with him just about a year ago, in the middle of COVID, and I got in touch with him, and I was like, "You think we could just make an album remotely?" And so that's what we've been doing. And this is the first time that I've gone like in person to work on it with him. But we're almost done. We've recorded a lot of songs, like probably nearly 20 some songs.
So you've just been using the internet and trading sound files back and forth?
Exactly. Yeah.
Fun.
And we have not heard a ton of people who were productive during the deep pandemic times. I would say that 70 to 80% were like, yep, I gardened, I did other things, I didn't feel like writing or being productive. Well, how was your productivity creatively during the pandemic? It sounds like it was pretty good.
I was really productive.
Wow.
Like,
Yay.
and I think I had to be. It's like it's kind of my sounds too cheesy to say it's my saving grace, but it's like my saving thing. It's like, yeah, I'm so glad I had that to kind of lean on because I moved from Atlanta. I relocated back where I was from, and I missed Atlanta so much. Um, but interestingly, I think one of the reasons I think that I was so prolific because I wrote a lot, I played a lot, was so on March 13th, 2020, the day that's when everything shut down in Atlanta. I was living in Atlanta at the time. I came home from work early. A friend of mine had posted something on Facebook about wanting to start. She's like, I just canceled like 5 shows or something. We need something online or something a way for Atlanta musicians to stay connected. And she just kind of threw that out there and she's like, what can we do? And so I had a little bit of time that day. I was sitting on my porch and I saw it. And I was like, hey, let's start a Facebook group. And so we did that day, and we called it Promoting My House. And we invited probably about 20 Atlanta musicians to be part of it, and we could just like do shows from our home over Facebook Live. And it blew up. And now we have like, I think about 8,000 members from all over the world.
Bam.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that became such just an awesome place, really, a virtual place for us to stay connected. And it was like we treated it like a virtual venue. So we all played shows on it a lot. So I think because of that, that really inspired me to just keep playing a lot.
Well, Kim, we want to hold that thought and
Okay.
and talk about this new release a little bit more. But first, it is the top of the hour, and this is WHUP LP Hillsboro.
And support for Pass the Hat is sweetly provided by Matthew's Chocolates, 104 North Churton Street, Hillsboro, North Carolina. Matthew, maker of all the fine chocolates in Hillsboro, slammed right now with all the trick and treating activity going on. Uh, he will be here any minute with the bar, the whoopaphone, the 1 pound of chocolate that he provides to every one of our Pass the Hat guests, and it is amazing. Matthew is not only an amazing chocolatier, but an artist as well. Everything there is fantastic, from the gelato to the truffles to the chocolate bark to the chocolate bars to the marshmallows, the cocoa, everything is just absolutely fantastic. Those are not my opinions. Those are not the opinions of the Pass the Hat staff. Those are scientific facts. Y'all get over to the Matthews Chocolates at matthewschocolates.com. Just buy all the chocolate.
And while you're on your way there, listen to Kim Ware sing more songs.
Yeah.
Kim, you talked about coming back from Atlanta, going back home, and was some of this new music in this new release that, I mean, that's a big shock to one's psyche, going back home. But did that elicit some like music that had laid dormant for a while, being there at the old home place?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I realized that this is kind of freaky to think back about, but my last album, like I have a song that the refrain is "I need to go home," and then like my dad's voice at the end of it goes, "We're going home," and like there's I have a line in one of my songs, his name was the poet, where I say, "All we have to believe in is home." Anyway, the point is, I was writing a lot about home, before I even knew that I was moving back home. And it freaked me out a little because I tend to do that. Like I'll write something and it's like, oh wow, I didn't really think this was about that, but now it seems like it was almost like I don't know, foreshadowing it or something.
Takes on a life of its own.
Yeah, but so I mean, I have continued to write songs about or inspired by home and just the concept of home. But then I realized I think had always been doing it really.
So it's reading on your website that your father had a peach orchard.
He did.
Are any of the trees still there?
Oh, many, yeah. And I currently live right beside the peach orchard. And yeah, several years ago, a guy approached my parents when my dad was still around because he was not doing anything really much with the orchard or the market anymore.
Requires a lot of upkeep with
Yeah.
pruning and spraying and all that stuff.
Yeah, and by this point, my dad was like well into his 80s, and this guy that was into like agriculture, and he was really into like asparagus, like that's kind of was his thing, but he wanted to kind of take it out, like rent it from them, you know. So he did, fortunately, and so he's been maintaining the orchard since then for about the past, probably like 6-7 years, something like that. And
so you can sneak over there and get enough to make a peach pie every once in a while.
When there's a good frost, I can. Yeah, there's a frost past year. I think the frost got about 75-80% of the crop.
I know, because
That does happen.
Sometimes peaches will bloom early, and up the hill where you are, it can be hit or miss.
Yeah, it just knocks the whole crop out for a year.
Yeah, it happened to my dad a lot. Yeah.
Well, Kim, I hate to interrupt, but we've been talking for a while, and we would love to hear some more of your music.
Yeah, I talked a lot. Thanks.
Oh no, that's on me.
So I had mentioned that. This is a good time to play this one. I mentioned that I do tend to write songs from time to time about people or things that aren't around anymore. And essentially talking about my dad. Let's play this one. So when my dad was still around a few years ago, I went home one weekend to kind of sit with him, while my mom was like running some errands and stuff like that. And I guess at the time I was feeling pretty confident in my songwriting abilities because I was just sitting there talking to him and I was strumming the guitar and I asked my dad for a topic. Like I was like, give me a topic and I'll write a song about it. And by this point, like he had dementia like pretty bad, and he was like, I don't know. And I was like, anything. Tell me anything at all. And he's like, I don't know. And I kind of kept pushing it. And I thought he would say like baseball or peaches.
But he was like, I don't know, and I could tell he was getting frustrated, and he says, I would if I could, but I can't. And so I dropped it, and the first verse of this song just kind of wrote itself. And I haven't released this one yet. Hopefully it'll be on the album next year. It's called So Many Questions. To have all the answers, but now everything seems so different and strange. I'm not sure if you still know me. I want to believe you still love The clearest are the ones that hurt. You always loved the Yankees, but you never went to the city except that time back in '76. When Mom drove you up to Charlotte, you boarded that big plane without us, and Mom cried so hard I thought she'd be sick. I said, don't worry, he'll come back real soon. That night I slept in your room, while Mom kept one hand on the phone. Ain't it funny how memory works? The clearest are the ones that hurt. And when you want it to stay, it just fades away. Ain't it funny how memory works? We talk about politics. If you only could, or you tell me about peaches like you always would. But those days are gone. It feels like it's gone for good. I've got so many questions, and you used to have all the answers. I want you to tell me the answers. I wish you could tell me the answers. I wish you could tell me the answers. I wish you could tell me the answers. I wish.
Kim Ware, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
And one of the things that makes it beautiful, and one of the first things I was drawn to about your music, is the quality of your voice.
Oh, thanks.
And knowing that you come from the mountain areas, that song in particular sounded very much like the Mountain Girls that I that I grew up with that Americana voice, that truly from the mountains voice. When did you realize that you could sing and the way that you sing has a story to tell?
Gosh, that's a good question. You know, for so long, I think maybe because I was like pursuing a career in like the corporate world, and my music was a passion, but for a long time I tried to not talk as Southern as I naturally do. And I think when I first started singing, it's the same thing. I actually was kind of opposed to sounding country. When I was a kid, I didn't care for country music, and I think mainly just because it was. It just reminded me. It reminded me of like just that rural area that I just really, for so long, just wanted to get away from, honestly. And so it took years for me to stop worrying about like talking with a Southern accent, and B, just then like letting my singing voice just sound like my speaking voice. Really, it took a long time for me to just get comfortable with that. I mean, I'd say it only really happened over maybe the past 3 or 4 years.
It's interesting because it almost sounds like that tendency bleeds into the quality of your songwriting as well. It's funny, when I was growing up as well, when people would ask me, what do you want to do? I would always say, I want to move. Because I grew up in a similar sort of area, and I was being honest, I wanted to move.
Yeah.
But then, as I got older, as with you, I found my way back to the voices that inspired and the stories that told. Does your voice influence your songwriting at all? Or because you know it's going to sound this way, so I know I can tell the story this way?
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever really thought about it, but I think it probably does. I mean, it did. Once I moved back home a little over a year ago, and I think I found myself writing more country-ish leaning songs, and I do think that, you know, my voice just kind of lends itself to that. All that said, the album I'm making is not country though.
Well, we can't wait to hear it, and we can't wait to hear more music from you. What else you got?
Let's see.
You're just making her work so hard.
I'm here for the music.
You know,
Here to hear
I
it.
think I'll follow that with like something a little more hopeful.
I don't know. I thought that was loving and hopeful.
No,
but
no,
maybe
thank
I'm
you,
weird.
thank you.
Emotional.
I just am never sure about that one. Like, I'm glad I'm playing another one. I'm never sure about leaving people with that one because it's just kind of heavy, you know. But this one's less so. You guys remember several years ago the Blood Orange Moon?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that January, like 3-4 years ago. So I was wrapping up an album at that time, and that night I did what so many people did. I stayed up watching the moon, you know, and it was cold that night. And I would run outside, I would take pictures, I would run back in. And that was, you know, when like politically our country was in such a mess, and it just seemed like our differences were so out there on display at all times, and it still does often. But that night, what I thought was just so beautiful was that everybody was just looking at the moon, and I was like, we need more nights like this. And
Yes, we did.
so I stayed up after the whole moon show was over. I was like, I can't go to sleep until I write a song about this. So I wrote this. It's called Blood Orange Moonshot. Well, I'm up much later than I usually am, just to go look at the moon. It's big and it's orange and special tonight. And I wonder if you're seeing it too. I go out in the cold, then I run back inside. As soon as I get a good look, I try not to wake up the dogs or the cats. I admire the pictures I took. Well, I don't get out much this winter, it seems. My friends ask if I feel okay. I just nod my head and I make a dumb joke. I don't know what else I should say. But nights like tonight I feel better somehow. It seems like maybe we're the same, with nothing to prove and no one to let down, and no fear of taking the blame. So let's lay our heads in our separate beds. Tomorrow is coming too soon. Go about your day in your own special way, and know that I saw the same moon. Just know that we saw the same moon.
Oh, that is super sweet.
Thanks.
Kim, you'd shared with us that that you've done all this recording. I think you said you had like 20 tracks. And is there a plan to release this wellspring of music? Are you gonna do it at one, like a double CD sort of thing? You're gonna put out like song by song, or haven't you thought that far ahead yet?
Well, I've released 2 of the songs this year. So 2 of them are out there, Capital R that I played earlier, and then another song called Stopped Making Plans. And Stopped Making Plans was the first one that Jerry and I finished. And yeah, I mean, I tend to do this because I write a lot. I love to write. And it's not always, every time I do it, I say I'll never do it again, but then I do. I just write and I start recording and then I just keep writing. So then I want to keep recording. And then
It's a never-ending process.
Yeah. And so then I end up with more than I need for a full-length album, which is, a wonderful, I guess, problem to have, I guess. And so now, basically, it's time to start figuring out, okay, well, what is the album? And so that's kind of what we'll be doing tomorrow, is like fine-tuning a batch of, I think I whittled it down to about 12 or 13, which I think is still a little longer than I want it to be, and we'll just pick the best batch of like 10 or 11. Yeah.
And there'll be an official release at some point?
Yeah, next year, I hope. At some point next year. I would guess around like summer, fall, probably. Yeah.
And by then you'll have the whole next record ready to go.
I mean, I kind of already did.
Wow.
I've got a bone to pick. I've got something that's been bugging me for about 20 minutes now.
What's that?
And I'm going to get it out.
Get it out.
About 3 songs ago, leading into the about 3 songs ago, you mentioned being given this task of writing yourself a letter,
Yeah.
thanking or giving service somehow to an emotion for what it had done for your life. And what struck me in that whole conversation is you didn't immediately say to us, "That was a great song prompt." It seemed like it took some extra step for this to become impetus for a song. So I guess what I'm getting at is you are an amazing songwriter. You are.
Oh, God.
No. I said that at the starting of the show. You write these not simple little ditties, but these really packed with emotion, packed with concepts, really, really deep songs. I'm still trying to struggle when the muse strikes you, because that to me, if I were a songwriter, I'm obviously not a songwriter. When somebody gave me a prompt like that, I think I have to write a song about this. Forget you. I'm not writing the letter that you told me to write because this is going to be a song.
Okay. So to be completely honest, now that you say that, so the conversation actually went like this. My therapist, honestly, I think she was at her wits' end with me because it was near the end of the set. She was like, "I want you to write yourself a letter," and then she was kind of like, "I don't know, you're a songwriter, write a song about it."
Okay.
But that said, though, I still I still don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't think I had that intention necessarily. I did want to write the letter.
She had already laid down the rules, write a letter.
But yeah, exactly. And then, but yeah, I don't know why. Well, actually, I can tell you why. I think it's just I had never written a song that way before, which is surprising to me too, because I love to journal. I do it a lot.
Right.
And I had never, not that I can remember, I had never written a song that way, and so I think that's why I didn't think of it. Now I wrote another song that way after that, and now I've told other people, like, if you're ever like stuck, that might be a good way to just write a song. Which, it seems like such an obvious thing.
As you were saying it, I was thinking, oh, that's a great song prompt.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to take this off on a tangent. That was bugging me, and I had to get that out.
So did you pick the bone?
I'm still working on it.
Yeah,
Clean.
well, give that look that's
Clean.
Well, all right. Well, Kim, that's what's so great about this hour we've been spending with you is just how natural it is, and that you're not forcing anything. I guess one great thing about just writing all the time is you don't worry about where the next song's going to come from or if it's going to come, because it's just flowing all the time. And we've really enjoyed this. You're going to share some other music with us in the last half an hour, but we do have time for one more song
great.
now. And
Awesome.
as we're streaming, and whatever you'd like to play, we'd love to hear.
Cool. Well, then I will play my standard outgoing song. I like to play this at the end of my shows. Bear with me, I'm tuning because I care. All right, this one's called 7-Year Sentence. It was on an album I released in 2017 called Set Your Sights. I'm going to hell, but my friends are there, so it won't be lonely. I'm going to hell where everyone cares, 'cause everyone knows me. Well, I'm trying to make sense of all the consequences, burning down bridges and fences we mended. I spent the last 7 years just pretending I'm not gonna break your heart. I'll see you in hell, but just walk away. Pretend you don't see me. The stories we'll tell to get through the day, to mask all our grieving. Well, I might have lost sight of what's right and what's honest, devised my own version of keeping a promise. I spent the last 7 years the hell.
Kim Ware here on Pass the Hat. She spent the last 7 years pretending she wasn't going to break your heart. Ouch. That's a great line.
Thank you.
Well, you've reached the bottom of the hour. Our live stream with Kim Ware is going to end. Y'all get out there, goodgraces.com. Learn a whole lot more, and you need to stalk Kim Ware everywhere she goes, everything she does, because this fantastic songwriting just keeps on going. She's got piles of them. She's got a new album coming out soon. You need to know all about it. Kim, will you do me a favor and wave goodbye to the live stream, and we'll turn it off. And y'all, we're not going